Hello, welcome to the Rooms with Ronald podcast, brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In 2023, I set an intention to shop 100 apartment communities to see how leasing was evolving around the country. Rooms with Ronald was born out of that experience. In this series, I share my experiences and engage in meaningful conversations with other professionals in the industry as we discuss all things related to leasing and marketing. Join in as we expand the Rooms with Ronald experiment. Welcome to another edition of Rooms with Ronald, the micro living series. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington, and today we are going to talk about follow-ups, which is my favorite thing. I don't know who said follow-ups had to be bad and not fun. I think follow-ups are fun. And what really got me thinking about this topic was a couple different things. Recently, Flair and Nurture Ball shopped over 1,100 properties and they looked at follow-ups, and they found that 14% of the properties didn't follow up with prospects. Out of 1,100 properties, 14% didn't follow up with prospects. And I'm here to tell you that's probably true because I've experienced that in my shops. Another one found that 80% of communities still rely on one or two follow-up channels. I would agree with that. But what they did find is that the top 15% responded 4.5 times faster and generated 6 times more of the tours. So that kind of got me thinking first about follow-ups. And then I started to dive into my own follow-ups that I received from the tours. And then I also shopped some properties recently to look at their follow-up experience in the student housing realm to find that it was lackluster, to say the least. So that really kind of shaped where we are today. But I wanted to touch on these student housing properties that I've been shopping across the country lately. What I found is if you don't know student housing, you lease up in about 8 months and you start pre-leasing, you do the whole thing. So this one property, I put in my guest card. I got an email from the property, and I got some from another channel, a vendor that they use. And what I found is that it was the same message from the vendor, right? It was 3 different emails with the same message. The property's email was about 3 pages long, it looked like on my phone. Like I was scrolling forever, telling me how they weren't pre-leasing until September 30th and all of these other things. But nowhere in the email did they invite me to get on a wait list. Nowhere did they invite me to come in for a tour, to be the first to get the exclusive rates for the next school year. Nothing. They told me when they were going to start pre-leasing, and then they gave me all the qualifications of the application process, and everything went down from there. The other student property that I shopped went on to rely on its partner on the AI side, and that did all the follow-up, which is fine. However, it was the same time every time I followed up with the text and email. There was no variation. And then I started to dig deep into my shops that I've been doing. And I can tell you that some properties I wanted to shop never responded to me when I put in a guest card to learn more information. What I did find a lot of what I call canned responses. There was no excitement in the follow-up whatsoever when it came to post-tour. Actually, a lot of the tours weren't even, the follow-ups from those tours weren't even personalized to me. It was just an autoresponder, an AI, or a template, right? And we're missing these big opportunities here when it comes to follow-up. No one calls anymore. With the exception of one property that I shopped recently, they've called me 4 times in the last week, which is good, but that messaging still is off, right? It's very monotone. So I think we need to look at follow-ups from a fundamental level, right? I totally believe that there is a spot for AI to do follow-ups. I think that, it could be the nurturing part of it. Where I would like to see some opportunities to improve on the AI side is that when we're working with these suppliers, that our branding goes with it. I can tell you from a subject line what's software that they use. And then when I open it up, I don't see the logo. I don't see the brand colors. I don't see anything like that that starts to build your reputation in a market when you solely rely on AI. And I do think that, there comes a time where that AI will do a lot of our follows for you, and we're going to get more sophisticated and start pulling in information that we put into the guest card and all of that. But we're not there yet. And so when AI is doing a lot of these follow ups, to me, that is the quantity follow ups, right? It's the systems doing it for you. There's not a lot of meat and potatoes or anything like that is adding value to my journey. Saying, oh, just checking in to see how the apartment search is going. Where the human comes in on the follow up, this is where we get to get creative. We get to, what we know about the prospect, what we learned about the prospect on the tour, maybe the telephone, we can start to pull into those follow ups. We're going to get to use a variety of subject lines that are tailored to them. Bonus points, put the dog's name in there. If you learn that they like pizza, talk about pizza places that deliver in there. When we start to do these types of follow ups, now we're starting to personalize the experience. We're starting to inform the prospect about what it like to live at that community. And on top of it, we're also starting to engage them, right? We're getting them to think about what it's like to live at our communities and all of those things. There are so many different ways that we can incorporate follow-ups that are fun, that people don't feel like it's a bother. I can't tell you how many times I've shopped properties or I've worked on site and people are like, oh, I got to do my follow-ups today. I'm like, great, let's do them. I love to do them because it creates the story and the narrative that we actually care about our prospects. We want to follow up with you. We're human. Now, this is where I have a hot take, and not a lot of people may agree with this hot take, but I think the moment that a person interacts with another person via the telephone or via the in-person tour, the AI follow-ups stop. And that human now owns the process from start to finish at that point because we've interacted, we've made a connection, and not in a sense of like you talk to a robot. No, like I know you're human. I can tell your tone. I can tell what you like and don't like. And I want to carry that same type of service through to the end. The AI is void of emotion. It's kind of dry. It doesn't excite people like you can. So that's my hot take. I think if you talk to a person in any way, shape, or form, telephone, in person, you jump over, you own that lead now because you've started to build that trust. The moment that that trust is broken, it's hard to get back. And if I never hear from you again and all I hear about is about the AI and those types of messages, I'm going to have a hard time coming to live with you because I'm going to be like, what happens when I move in? We started out great. We had a lot of great communication. AI took over. And then when I move in, well, who am I going to talk to? Because clearly you did not value our relationship enough to carry it through to the finish line. We did it, guys. We did follow-ups in under 10 minutes, which is why I love these micro living editions. So here's a couple takeaways that you can take to the bank today. Let your AI help nurture those leads, respond to them, get them excited. But keep an eye on them. If someone's looking to move in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you have availability, maybe it's time for you to jump in and start creating those quality follow-ups to get people excited. After you talk to someone, own the relationship. Create follow-ups that add value to their journey. Show them why they should live with you because you will take care of them and people want that. Until next time, guys, you've been listening to Rooms with Ronald. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. Happy leasing. Bye. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I left you with some fresh ideas or a new perspective. Leasing and marketing are evolving rapidly, and Rooms with Ronald is committed to offering a place to hear about those changes. We also celebrate and acknowledge the fundamentals of exceptional service that will never go out of style. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe. Visit Multifamily Media Network personalization.com to learn more about our other exceptional industry podcasts, call pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.